I was once a shameless full-time dope fiend.
How do you go from riding bicycles and racing BMX tracks to robbing pharmacies?
Me and my crew robbed drugstores.
Who are you loyal to throughout these things in order to even get in these situations?
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
But don't get the idea it was easy.
And what was so appealing about this lifestyle?
It's hard being a dope fiend.
You guys think I'm dumb. I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
Let's get into it. 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 So this video basically comes from a comment made by A Darlin 1011. I hope I said that right. It's A Darlin 1011. Anyways, A Darlin asked like how I got into all this, man. What got me into this lifestyle? Where did all that come from? What was the influence? And I've been thinking on that since I think I said it was this morning when I read the comment. So this video is just kind of in the middle of what I have planned, but I grew up a regular old kid, man. You know, I rode bicycles. I went out and played just like everybody else. We had a pool in the backyard when I was younger. I loved to play in that. I had friends. I was normal as everybody else. And I think sixth grade happened. When I got into the sixth grade, man, you know, you go from elementary school to middle school. Things change a lot. Your little body's changing, and you really don't know what to do about it. So you're shy and weird. But I wasn't. I wasn't shy. I wasn't weird. I was all over the girls. I was ripping, running, making noise. I remember in the sixth grade, I was in the office every day for a detention or a suspension or something. I stopped even showing up for detentions because I couldn't get home. Like, I'm not coming to detention if I don't have no way home. That bus is leaving. I'm leaving with it. So it's kind of started there, man, and then it went from every 4 detentions turned into a suspension. When I would get suspended, I would just hide in the spare room, and my mom would go to work, and then I would get up after she went to work, and then I would come out and grab the mail, which had the suspension slip in it, hide it, burn it, trash it, whatever, and act like I went to school like nothing was even wrong, man. And I missed like 75% of the school year, you know. And then I redid that. And then, man, school just went downhill from there. I didn't care about school anymore. Like, I was more involved in girls and dirt bikes and smoking cigarettes and hustling some ways to get money. I sold gum in school. I sold whatever I could to make, you know what I mean? I've been a hustler since I was big enough to mow grass or, you know, use a snow shovel. So when I got into high school, which was the ninth grade, I'd moved away from my dad. So 7th and 8th grade, I was with my dad. So then I had straightened up a little bit. I was actually going to school. I couldn't get things by him. You know what I mean? I didn't do a whole lot of homework, but he was a whole lot more strict on me than my mom ever was. So I did a lot better 7th and 8th grade. But then the summer of the 8th grade, I ended up spending like the last 2 weeks of 8th grade with my mom because my dad's old lady couldn't handle me no more. They kicked me out. Went to stay with my mom, finished out at a different school. So now the next year starts and it's ninth grade. Now here's where I start really getting crazy because I hook up with a low life that was local from the area who started driving early. So I was already a year behind because they held me back in 6th grade because I didn't want to do my work. They held him back at some point too. I think he had been held back twice. So he was a year older than me and we were both in the ninth grade. But he's got a car, bro. He's got a driver's license. Like, I'm not staying at this school if we can leave. So we start leaving. Like, and it didn't matter if we even went to school. And if we went to school, it was there to pick up girls, straight up. We would go in, we would hit the school, walk the halls, try to talk some girls into leaving with us. We would go to the first class because then the rest of the school came into school. And when they came into school right there, me and him had gym together, second period. So we had pre-class and then we had second period to talk to whoever, pick up whatever and leave. Now we weren't into drugs yet, man. But we could do whatever we wanted because we had a car. So we would pick up some chicks, or sometime we wouldn't pick up some chicks, and we would just roll out, bro. We would leave school. I went to school through like November of my ninth grade year, and then I just never went back. I went through Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving weekend, you went through Wednesday, and then you're out. Boom. I never went back after that. I did try to go back the next year, but I was so big I barely fit in the desk, bro. I was like huge in the desk, and these little kids were like, "Hi, Jamie, you want a piece of gum?" So it just didn't work very good for me, bro. So I left, and then me and him started hanging out heavy. Now this kid right here, he came from a family of people who had already robbed and stole and been to prison, and like it was part of their culture as a family. Like it was something they knew. These guys they did drugs. His dad smoked pot all the time. Hold on, that's my cat wanting in. And I wasn't used to none of that, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't used to all that drug life and all that craziness they had going on. But once we started hanging out, then he started showing me how to steal and how to do those things, bro. The first store we stole this, and then, we learned that we could sell that. And then we found a guy that would pay us half price for anything we wanted. He wanted to start a pawn shop. And he knew we could get a whole lot of shit. So if it had a $100 price tag on it, it was $50. If it had 500, $250, so forth and so on, man. And we started a pawn shop through him, or he started it through our stealing. So we stole. And of course, again, this guy was into drugs. So, they smoked weed. I didn't smoke weed for a long time. Like my buddies ran around and they would smoke, and I would get out of the car when they smoked. And then I eventually smoked with them. I can't remember. We got high some one day. My mom came home and caught us, and I can't remember. I just kept smoking after that, and then that turned into we smoked all the time, bro, and that's all we did was chase money so that we could buy weed. Like weed was hard to find, money was hard to come by, so we would steal and get the weed, and that's what we would do. We had many, many, many different scams over the years that we went through. I'll make a video up of different stuff that we did to get it. And then I remember our first Percocet. We were in my apartment, and dude down the road had broke his arm and didn't like the pills. They made him sick or something, so he sold us the whole prescription. It was 3 of us at that time. And the 3 of us took 1 Percocet apiece, man, and we were high as hell. Hell, we were only 16 or something, you know what I mean? We were just like, and I remember we just sat there nodded for an hour or something, feeling great, and that was the first time, and it was years went by before we really started using on a constant basis after that, but that was kind of my introduction. And then the same guy that introduced me to the Percocet, basically, his people got Vicodin. So I'm pretty sure it was his dad or one of his cousins or somebody was getting Vicodin ES, which is Vicodin Extra Strength, which is Lorcet or hydrocodone, hydrocodone. Not hydrocodone, there's a difference. Hydrocodone. Anyways, we started taking those to the point to where, hell, you felt great. And then it was like, hey, I take one in the morning, and next thing you know, it was lunchtime. I would smoke a joint, eat a pill, and next thing you know, it was time to go home from work. And it was like, damn, dude, the days would go by so fast and so easy that, like, who's not going to do that? And after time went by, next thing you know, you got a habit. And then you're sick, and you're chasing these pills down. And back then, we were getting them for $5 a piece. 10 pills for $50, was about what you could come up with back then, because $50 was hard to get. So we get $50, we buy 10 pills, we run out, and then we get Percocet or whatever. And then that turned into Oxys. When Oxys hit the market, that was a craziness because it was 8 Percocets in 1 pill, and that was just a 40. So when you got a 80 milligram Oxy, that was 16 Percocets in 1 pill. And they made 160s at one time, dude. So that was 32 of these Percocets that destroyed us the first time. Drooling on ourselves off of 1. Now they're making these things that have triple, double, quadruple doses. Everything from 32 to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 Percocets per pill. And there's no cut in them. There's no aspirin or Tylenol or anything like that. So they're snortable. and they're shootable. And once these things are figured out amongst the Oxycontin community, like when I started doing pills and we were taking Vicodin and shit back in the whatever it was, the 90s, people didn't even like pills. They was like, ew, you know what I mean? They was like, that was a thing that people didn't want to do. But when them oxys came out, boy, I'm trying to tell you, those same people that would turn their nose up at me last week over Vicodin was begging me for an oxy that week. So once they came out, dude, it was crazy. Shit went mad. Like everybody wanted them. Everybody was robbing, stealing, and doing whatever they could to come up with these pills, man. And you know, we were pretty good at stealing, but dude, once your habit got to be $250 a day or something, and we had been stealing for these stores for years and years, and they all knew us, and things were starting to get locked down, and we had been busted, and we had all these, you know what I mean? So then things just really got crazy. And a lot of other things come into decision making upon that too. Like these guys were a big influence, but once we got to the point that we were taking Somas and Xanaxes and Valiums, back then it was Valiums. It wasn't even Xanax. It was Valiums. It was Somas and Valiums and Oxycontin. That's what we like to do. And once we could get our hands on all that, bro, it totally fucked up everything because your body would keep going, but your brain wouldn't. So eventually that comes down to just one crime after the other, man, getting caught for. I talked about getting caught at Lowe's in a video. I'm going to do a video on my pharmacy robbery that happened in 98 where we went in and robbed a pharmacy straight up for Oxycontin. I'll go through that one step by step later. But I think a big part of it, the reason that I went through all that too was because my father wasn't in my life anymore. When my dad was around as a youngster, I kind of walked the line. You know what I mean? Yes, I still did troublesome stuff like all kids do. And bro, I'm telling you what, I am a stubborn, very stubborn person. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And there's no telling me I can't do it. And there's no telling me, if you tell me I can't do it, that's just going to make me do it more. You know what I mean? And that's good or bad. Like if you challenge me against something good, I'm going to up it. And if you're challenging me against something bad, I might up that too because I'm idiot like that sometimes, man. So it was definitely choices that were made along the lines that were led from being already high. The day I robbed the pharmacy, I was so high I can barely remember. I wrecked my car like 3 times, man. You know what I mean? That I did a crime that ended up getting me 6 freaking years of my life taken away. So yeah, I think a lot of it was not having my pops in the picture, man. Once my pops chose to kick me out of the house and take his wife as more important than me at the most important time that was the most important time, like for real. And I think I even, he knew about this guy. He knew these guys were not what he wanted me to be running around with. My mom knew they were not who we wanted to be running around with. Dude, when I hooked up with these people, you should have seen where they lived. Like the trailer that they lived in was so run down and rampant. Like there was no doorknob on the front door. Like the front door barely shut. But they had a pit bull that would come out and bite your face off. You know what I'm saying? So who cares? Freezing cold, filling up the kerosene with the kerosene heater to make the heat run. Like this place was literally falling down, man. When my mom's and them pulled me up there and dropped me off, she was like, I remember when I dropped you off there, I was like, where in the hell am I taking my kid? Like, where am I dropping my kid off? And, that was one of them places that just looked like that, man. It was run down, fucked up place. And she was scared for me. And she had a right to be. And when, my pops didn't have nothing to do with trying to help me out to get through that. And I was a kid, I was young, and I was impressionable. And this guy was there, and his dad was there. And they were like my little second family that I had, bro. You know what I mean? It was like they listened, and we smoked weed, and we had fun, and we stole stuff. And, there was no leadership there trying to teach me how to be a normal person. There's just leadership showing me how to be a freaking criminal. Yeah, and I learned pretty good. So as I'm editing this video, I realized, number one, that my background was backwards. Fix that. But also, I didn't answer the question as to, what made me turn my life around, man. And I think the biggest part of that for me is the disgust for using. The disgust to still see some of the guys that I have grown up with still in the same cycle, still using, still building their life up to a certain point and then tearing it back down and then having to restart again. And I've restarted so many times, I'm tired of restarting. So I'm just trying to walk the line, man. I don't do anything illegal. You know what I mean? I drink a little beer, I smoke a little weed, but it's nothing that affects my life. I don't drink a 12 pack a day. I might drink one, I might drink six. And I do smoke a lot of weed, man, but that keeps me away from all the other stuff because it just kind of chills me out and helps me to stay focused. But yeah, the disgust for it is what turned me around, man. So many years of watching what I did destroy the people around me and hurt the things around me, man. I was tearing things down and never building things up, or I would build it up and then I would destroy it all over again. I'm tired of doing that. I'm sick of doing that. I'm trying to build something. You know what I mean? I'm getting old and you know, it's time to grow up. So, yeah, that's basically it, man. Just tired of seeing jails, tired of being a drug addict, tired of being looked at like a criminal and a drug addict. Hopefully I can share some of these stories and people can learn from what I say versus me always having to touch the burner when you told me it was hot, dude. I always had to get burnt. So don't get burnt, man. But anyways, thanks for the comment, man. I just wanted to, you know, drop a little video, let you know about that as soon as possible. This was a pretty cool story for me, man. I never had really anybody ask me about that, man. But that's definitely how it went down. So hit the like button, man. You know, I appreciate y'all watching the videos. Thanks for hanging out. Share this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, man, hit that sub button, man. We just passed 500 on our way to 1,000.